Well, along with capping carbon emissions, Kerry-Boxer would also provide $10 billion over 10 years for research into carbon capture and sequestration. But regardless of whether that funding becomes available, 3 private companies are now claiming success on a team effort into CCS research. Today, Alstom, EPRI, and We Energies all announced the results of their Pleasant Prairie CCS project in Wisconsin. Clean Sky's Tyler Suiters talked with one member of the EPRI team about the lessons learned.
Hank Courtwright is Senior Vice President of EPRI, and he is joining us now from Stanford University in California. It's Hank, it is good to have you back with us today.
Glad to be here, Tyler. My pleasure. Thank you.
Let's talk about the announcement today, your partnership with Alstom and We Energies at the Pleasant Prairie plant. It sounds like a resounding success in terms of all the parties involved.
Yeah, we're ready to this week declare success. We'll be doing some wrap-up work at the site over the next few weeks, but we've had a very good test run at this pilot plant and look forward to taking what we learned and move forward with this technology.
Let's talk about the scale that you've been working with there at Pleasant Prairie, Hank. 1.7 megawatts, considerably smaller than what you would need to prove technological viability on a commercial scale, correct?
Yeah, it's correct. You got to do these in steps. You basically have to learn to, let's say, walk before you run.
Mm-hmm.
So the 1.7 megawatts allowed us to test out the engineering proof of concept, get an idea of some of the performance of different parameters, and now we'll scale it up by a factor of 10, moving on to the American Electric Power AEP site in West Virginia.
Mm-hmm. The numbers that are coming out of Pleasant Prairie, Hank, we had someone from Alstom in within the last few weeks saying that the average was right around 89% removal, but that you would actually reach 94% on some occasions.
Yeah, that's the target we're trying to get, is in the 90% range. So, every extra percent we can get is great, but if we're in the 90% range, I feel that the technology is working at the targeted numbers that we're trying to get for capture of CO2 out of the flue streams.
Well, is success then designated in terms of the size of the plant involved or the percentage of capture in your mind?
Well, I think the key here is the percent of capture. You need to have so much capture so that you can take coal and through carbon capture and storage, turn it into a low carbon fuel for electricity production. And as we test that, get it larger and larger in scale, then we can also take it out to more and more different types of plants to make sure those same numbers apply in different operations.
Hank, I'd like to read a quote to you from Robert Hilton, who's with Alstom, and he made this recently on our air, quoting now, "We're confident we can do 90% on average." This is in regards to Pleasant Prairie. And he says, "The other thing is that the purity has exceeded our expectations." Is that a result of the chilled ammonia process that you selected and put into place there at Pleasant Prairie?
Well, it shows that chilled ammonia can reach that purity level, which is important because as you then take the CO2 and have to move it through pipelines, compress it, and eventually inject it into long-term underground storage, you want as few other elements in there as possible. So the purity is very important, and reaching that is a good benefit of the chilled ammonia process.
Based on what you've completed there in Wisconsin, Hank, you're ready to declare that chilled ammonia and post-combustion are the preferred and perhaps the best methods of CCS so far?
Well, so far it's what we've seen as the most advanced. We are working on other options, and I think it's important that we do look at other options, other technologies. That helps keep the marketplace open for different options, helps competition, and helps keep over time the lower cost options available for the power companies to choose from. But chilled ammonia has shown to be very viable as a technology to move forward and scale up to the next level.
Now, you mentioned competition, Hank, and there seems to be a real premium on private partnerships right now regarding CCS research and demonstration. You are teaming up again with Alstom and now with AEP on the plant you mentioned, Mountaineer plant in West Virginia, a much larger scale there. Same set of expectations in terms of the purity involved?
Yes, that's a target we need on almost all the demonstrations you do. You need to get up into the high 90% level of purity, no matter what technology you use.
What are the challenges then coming up with Mountaineer? Is it simply the size of this plant that's involved?
Well, you want to now integrate it not only into a larger scale. This will help prove the economics a little bit more definitively as we get to the 20 megawatt scale. But now also important, Tyler, is that at Mountaineer we are going to be injecting the CO2 into deep underground long-term storage. That was not done at We Energies. We Energies was just a capture project.
Hank Courtwright is Senior Vice President with EPRI, touting the success of the project at Pleasant Prairie. Hank, please join us again when you get the results from Mountaineer Plant.
Tyler, I'd be happy to. It'd be our pleasure.
Well, you heard Hank Courtwright talking about the joint Mountaineer project in West Virginia. Well, EPRI, American Electric Power, AEP, and Alstom are joining forces there on this 1,300 megawatt plant. So if the team once again reaches a 90% CO2 capture rate, what comes next? Tyler talked with an AEP executive about the utility's next step in CCS research.
Our next step is that we've applied for incentive money, or whatever it's called, from the government, so that we could take that to the next level, where we take that up to 360 megawatts that we'll start capturing on. We've engaged with RWE from Germany, Battelle, and other Alstom, so that we can bring in foreign countries as well. Tata Power in India is very interested, because if they get the technology and see it happen, then it's going to happen worldwide, not just in Mountaineer, West Virginia.